and welcome back to another Tarot and Oracle reading. So for this month, this is a timeless reading, as are all of my readings, but if you guys are watching this in real time when I'm posting this in December of 2022, this is going to be for the end of the year, so end of the year blessings. And if you're not watching it December 2022, that's perfectly fine. This is just going to be what your blessings are for the next couple weeks, next 30 days. So we have my fire's going crazy right now, which is a nice indication of the energy that we have going on. We have a lot of orange energy. Every single one of the items that I have here can be burned and incorporate that fire energy. So maybe it's time for you guys to do some sort of purification process and really kind of blast away any energy that is no longer serving you for the end of the year, so that you are opening up space for what is to come in the next year. But again, we're focusing on the blessings coming to you. So we have 3 piles here: pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. And for the very first pile, we have a black candle. Second pile, we have Palo Santo. And then for the third pile, we have a bundle of sage. So go ahead, take your time, meditate on all 3 of these piles and see which one feels the best for you. If you feel that you resonate with more than one pile, that's perfectly fine. Go ahead and listen to another pile, because there may be another additional message for you in more than one pile. So go ahead, take some time, relax, meditate on these cards, and I will see you at your pile. All right, hello, my beautiful pile number 1s. This is for those of you who have chosen the black candle. So if you've chosen the black candle, maybe you are drawn more to protecting yourself, protecting your energy, your aura, protecting your finances, protecting your friendships and relationships, protecting your emotions, your mindset, maybe your body. So definitely consider, if you're doing any sort of altar work or prayers, if you're really drawn to this black candle, it may be time for you to get into that mode of protection and use a black candle for any of your spiritual practices. So let's go ahead and see what the universe has to say in terms of what your blessings are, or the blessings that are coming to you. Let's see. Interesting. 2 cups cards in reverse. Okay, give me 1 second to get all the messages here for you. Okay. So a lot of you guys, I feel, have either shed a sort of partnership or relationship. Could be romantic, doesn't necessarily have to be. Or maybe you kind of shed some things that really were weighing on you emotionally, or you just are letting go of things that you don't want to weigh over you emotionally anymore. So either they're weighing on you and you recognized it and you're in the process of removing them from your life and purifying it out of your life, or you're kind of taking note and taking into account, like, you know what, for, the next month or moving forward the next couple of months, I really do think that there's a turnaround for me, and I want to be able to invest my emotions into something that is really going to pay off or going to benefit a more mature version of myself. So I think a lot of you guys are kind of letting go of like childish, emotional things that you used to once value. So let me see if I can come up with like an example for you. So for a lot of you, it's going to be those quirky little sentimental things. So maybe some Christmas cards, maybe some birthday cards that you're like, honestly, I love the sentimental value in this, but it is kind of cluttering my space and I really want to purify my space. So love it. Maybe I'll take a photo of it and put it into a photo album, so I'll always like have the messages, but I think I'm going to toss it. So things like that. And it could range as that small to something even bigger. Like, you know what? It's, this one person, they have been a childhood friend of mine for a really long time, and I feel like every time I'm with them now, it's like the relationship is not allowing me to progress and mature. And it's like every single time that I'm with them, we still just do these like childish things or resort back to this childhood behavior that I'm just really trying to move on from. So maybe you're trying to bring more maturity into that relationship and trying to kill that kind of energy that you're not really wanting to live in anymore, or maybe it's really kind of taking your attention away from that one person and making friends who are a bit more on your new level, or maybe they have a different kind of standard for life and you're looking into that as well. So that could also be you moving friend groups that have habits or hobbies that you no longer agree with. So let's say that you're someone who usually likes to go out on the weekends and you drink and you smoke and you party and you do all the recreational things that you want to do, and maybe you're just kind of like, ugh, my body's tapped out. Like, emotionally, that used to make me really happy before, but right now I just want to find happiness other places. I want to find joy and fun in other places. I want to maybe learn a skill, learn a new technique, or go to a class, or really double down on my work, or even just self-care and, you know, getting yourself some help with therapy, things like that. So that may mean that you are transitioning your friend groups into other people who are more aligned with what your current mission is and what your current journey is. So again, it could be as small as something that is cluttering your room that has sentimental value to one person or to a group of people. So again, with these cards, it's very, very emotional. I know that you guys are changing your perspective on what really rings true for you and what brings you the amount of joy that you're looking for. And really, you're just putting value in other places right now and reorganizing what you spend a lot of your emotional energy on. So we have that here with the Four of Cups. And that is a blessing too. Like, I know that it's like release, purify, and like make space, but it's true. Once we make space for something, that's how we can allow more things to come in. But we can't like keep manifesting and try to allow things to come in if we don't have the space for it energetically. And I think for you guys, it's like a huge emotional purge. So whatever you kind of set your sights on that really used to, you know, light you with happiness or ignite you with that fire and that passion, you have already seen it dwindle, and it's not really, you know, it's not really serving you anymore. So yeah, that was the Four of Cups in reverse. We also have another Cups card here, which is the Six of Cups in reverse. This could also mean that you guys are giving up some sort of hobby that you really used to love, and you're just trying to learn something new. So if you're someone who is an artist and maybe you really loved painting and painting was like your forte, now maybe you're kind of putting your paintbrushes away and going more into ceramics or pottery, or trying something completely different like dance as a form of expression, or even writing as a form of expression. For some of you, whatever your habit or hobby is that you make money off of, that could also be changing as well. Maybe you're looking to get into a different department where you're still working for the same company, but you're doing something a little bit different. Your job title is a little different. What you're expected to do is a little bit different, and it's going to nurture and nourish your emotions in a way different way. So we have that there with the 4 and the 6 in reverse. And then lastly, we also have this Mother, Father, God card. And so again, with the emotions and with the relationships, I really do think that whether it's going to be your blood-related family or the family that you choose, I think that a blessing coming for you this month is going to be either forming and building and solidifying that family a lot more, or you are just spending more time with your family in general, where maybe your friend groups aren't necessarily doing it for you. And if you're in a transitional state right now, maybe leaning more into your family is going to allow you to feel that you can be more vulnerable, that you can grow, that you can kind of touch base, and maybe even move home for the holidays, or maybe even just move home temporarily, or maybe you have moved away from like your hometown for a while, and you're really like, well, now I have kids, or you know, now this new thing is happening in my life, or maybe I just really kind of exhausted the energy where I moved. I think I want to move back to familiarity, and I think that you guys are going to really adopt a lot of things that are familiar to you. And my ear was like kind of ringing a little bit when I said adopt. Some of you guys may be adopting a family member or even a furry friend, and that's also a big blessing as well. And with this card too, we almost see like we have this sun energy that is like right up here that they're pointing to, and it almost kind of looks like white in the middle. It's like a soul maybe coming through the sun, and of course we know that in Spanish the word for sun is soul. So there is just like this energy here where maybe you guys are becoming new parents. Maybe it's not even adoption. Maybe you guys are pregnant or getting pregnant or plan to be pregnant. And so that kind of emotional value now changes your life as well if you're introducing someone new into the family. This could also mean that there may be like a new niece or nephew coming into your family as well. And maybe that really prompts you to stay home more or be more involved with the family. But I really am seeing you cherishing a lot of the time that you have, and maybe even turning a bit more traditional than you're like really accustomed to. Maybe if you weren't really like a holiday kind of person, this holiday is different for you. Or if there's no holiday by the time that you're watching this, maybe it's like a birthday coming soon and you're like, well, you know, let's really celebrate this person's birthday. Like, I think that you guys are wanting to, you know, put more value into things that are more traditional and have a lot to do with family or really close loved ones that you connect to. I'm also sensing here some blessings could be, I know that I said moving back home or like moving back to your hometown, but it could just really be restarting in a new place. So maybe you guys are moving maybe just 5 minutes down the road, but it has a different energy for you where maybe all the clutter and all the chaos from before, you can kind of leave that behind in another chapter and start a brand new one in a new place that you're moving to. Again, kind of with this card, I was sensing that you guys may be also changing career paths or changing the department that you're in as well. So this also means new relationships with clients. Maybe you guys are fortifying the relationships that you have right now, especially if you guys are freelancers or you own your own business. But if you guys don't own your own business and you just work, you know, with a company or something like that, I do sense that you're gonna meet a lot new people and network with new people as well. So that's all that I'm really seeing here. I'm gonna take out one more card. I wasn't really planning on doing this, but there's something telling me to take out one more card. I'm trying to figure out where that's gonna be from. I'm gonna do it from this deck. Also thinking too that you guys may do some sort of like cord cutting ritual, just because with that black candle, something was giving me like the inkling of you guys wanting to energetically or spiritually separate yourself or sever yourself from somebody else. And so this could be an ex, this could be a relationship, this could be, you know, even a thought process that you're like, I am just done committing to this thought process. I want to do some sort of cord cutting ritual to sever the ties and restore and regain and reclaim back my energy. And so if you feel called to do that, definitely make sure that you're doing that before the year ends if you're watching this in real time. Okay, let's see. Patience. Patience in a place of challenges. So I accept that everything happens in divine order. So I think some of you guys are really waiting for something big to happen in your life. This is almost like a completely different reading all in itself with that one card. Some of you guys have really been waiting for something. And the fact that this is in a place of challenges is letting me know that there are going to be times where the universe is in charge of what goes on. You know, a lot of the times. And then there's going to be times where the universe puts the ball in our court. And if we don't recognize that the universe is putting the ball in our court, we can be waiting for a miracle to happen for years. And then it's not until we're like, I'm sick and tired of waiting, you know, to actually do something about it or to actually see a third way that it can happen. Because sometimes we're like, either this is going to happen for me or it's not. But we don't really accept both. We only accept one or the other. And if we only accept like, this is going to happen for me, this is going to happen for me, this is going to happen for me, it's always kind of like perpetuating the fact that like it still also hasn't come, because we're still like, well, it's going to happen. And then like we're always in a constant state of waiting. Sometimes we do need to make it happen. And sometimes we need to see the third way. We need to see another perspective. So if you're feeling stuck with something that you've been waiting for a long time, like let's say that you've really wanted to make a certain dollar amount by the end of the year or by the end of the month or by the end of 6 months, and it just hasn't happened for you yet, and you're just waiting for like the tides to change and, you know, the world to kind of conspire for you. First of all, the world is already conspiring for you, but you may be waiting for the universe to take its turn when it already has. So it's kind of understanding like, Is there something else that I could be doing here? Or should I be putting my attention somewhere else briefly while the universe handles this? You kind of have to ask the universe and ask your higher self, I would say, in some sort of meditation, like, what is it that I am not seeing yet? Like, if the ball is in my court, what is it that I have to do? Where is it that I have to put my focus into? And who do I have to talk to? Like, really ask the universe and ask your higher self, if the ball is in my court, what am I expected to do? What do you need from me, universe, so that we can make this happen? And I guarantee you the universe is going to tell you something that you may already know but haven't done yet, but you really need to double down on doing it, or double down on focusing on it. So really, for you guys in divine timing, I think you've been waiting for this miracle to happen. Like, oh, like, you know, I am going to get this dollar amount, but the universe, you know, will give it to me when I'm ready. That is true, but like, are you showing the universe that you're ready, or are you just patiently and idly waiting by? Like, not all the time do miracles come like out of the sky, and we know that. So if you're like praying and hoping and wishing and dreaming, like, are you also planning and having, you know, a course of action to take? And are you doing something different? And a lot of the times you kind of need to do the opposite of what you have been doing, and that really trips people up too. So sometimes if you're not getting the results that you're wanting, and you really are like waiting for the universe to present this to you, you kind of maybe have to do the exact opposite of what you've been doing and try something completely freaking new, so that new energy gets put into the mix. And now we have the next little step. Because the universe only ever really gives us the next little step. The universe rarely ever gives us a whole entire blueprint, because that would overwhelm us and we would get confused and we would trip up on it because we're like trying to go too fast. The universe will give us one breadcrumb at a time. And I think that the universe has given you a breadcrumb and you've just been looking at it like, well, where's the other one? Where's the other one? Where's the other one? And it's like, well, if you just follow this one, you're going to get the next one. Okay, so that is kind of all that I have for you. I'm going to read this one more time so you understand more of that affirmation after we kind of explained it for you. But patience. I accept that everything happens in divine order. All right, so these are the blessings that I'm seeing for you, that are coming for you this month. Again, if you feel like doing some cord cutting, if you feel like doing some protection spells or protection like energy work for yourself, absolutely do so. Now is the time. And if you are watching this in real time, really do make sure that you are allowing yourself to clear your space so new things can come in for you. But that's all that I have. I send you many, many blessings. If you guys are interested in a one-on-one session, I absolutely do have those. You can go to mystiqueawakening.com and click services to book one. Or if you're interested in Reiki training, our next cycle is happening January 1st, so the new year. So make sure that you are enrolling to join Reiki training so that you can learn how to heal yourself and heal other people. And if you're interested in more Reiki and tarot videos, podcasts, mindset shifting, or even awakening portals, make sure that you are signing up and subscribing to become a Mystic member so you don't miss out on any of the other videos that I post on there that I don't post over on YouTube. So again, I love you guys very, very much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. All right, hello, my lovely pile number twos. This is for those of you who have chosen the Palo Santo. So if you've chosen this Palo Santo, it may be time for you to really get back into a cleansing process for yourself. So if you have not been cleansing lately energetically, maybe now's the time to do it. If you have been feeling a little bit lethargic, if you've been feeling anxious, depressed, if you've really just been feeling out of balance and you don't have any sort of spiritual practice or spiritual cleansing in hand, it may be time for you to get something like Palo Santo, or get something like sweetgrass, get something like rosemary, so that you can burn it and purify and cleanse yourself and your space. If you're feeling that, you know, things are just kind of going slow in your life and no newness is really happening, and you're really wanting to kind of shift all the energies around you and prepare for the new year, if you're watching this in real time, then make sure that you're, you know, cultivating some new cleansing practices. If you guys are interested in learning how to do a smoke cleanse or a smudge, I do have instructions in how to do that in my membership membership platform, Mystique Members, or if you're interested in Reiki training, I do also have a video there in orientation week. It's the same video that allows you to learn how to cleanse yourself. But if, of course, you get the Reiki training, you're going to learn how to help heal yourself and heal others, which involves you cleansing yourself and cleansing others. So if you're really trying to double down on making sure that you're up to date with your spiritual practices and you're keeping up with your spiritual hygiene and spiritual upkeep, make sure that you're either becoming a Mystique member or that you are signing up and enrolling to Reiki training. But let's go ahead and see what your blessings are for this month. Okay, interesting. We have 2 Pentacles cards in reverse, and then we have romance and connection here at the bottom. So give me 1 second while I receive all these messages. Okay, I feel that a blessing that is coming for you this month is you finally eliminating or letting go of indecision, letting go of doubt, letting go of worry. And I think what you guys are gaining is a lot of patience and also trust in the universe, and trust that like things are going to work out for you and things are already working out for you. I think that you guys are maybe my pile who have been a lot more cynical in the past, and it's been a little bit difficult for you to gain that optimism and gain that everything is okay kind of energy. And you know, sometimes things are not okay and that's fine, but I think that when things were not okay, you guys would like double down on that energy and say like, see, I knew that, you know, the universe isn't working on my side, or see, I knew that, you know, this wasn't going to work out for me, or I knew that if I tried this, it was going to be a fail. Like, I think that you guys, whenever something bad happened, you really like doubled down on that energy and then really pointed the fingers at the universe, but also pointed a lot of fingers at yourself. And that was terrible for your self-esteem, because it was like you wanted a certain outcome, but you were always sabotaging yourself. And I feel like you guys have finally learned, or at least this month, maybe you guys are going to start to realize the energy of acceptance. And even if things seem a little crappy, you are able to accept it. And then by accepting it energetically, you are becoming more into alignment with the thing that you wanted in the first place. So again, eliminating that indecision, eliminating that fear or that doubt or that worry. And I think that you guys now know, or at least will know within this month, that if something isn't coming to you right at this moment, it doesn't mean that it's never going to come to you at all. And I think that you guys are doing a better job at understanding the bigger picture of things and knowing that if there's something that's going to be long lasting, it definitely takes time to get there. It's like you hardly ever get something that lasts a long time that started really, really fast. And for you guys, I think that that is just like a general statement across the board, across all areas of your life. But for some of you guys, again, with this romance and connection card, I think that you're understanding like, oh, like building a friendship and getting to know them like for a long time prior to actually being committed and being a certain role for them and having them be a certain role for me. Like that's really where it's at. Like finding that commitment after we've actually engaged and learned each other is maybe something that I see value in right now. And if it's not romance and connection for you, it could just be, well, maybe if it's not romance for you, it's still connection for you. So connection to yourself, connection to spirit, connection to your guides, connections to the friendships that you have, the family that you have, the clientele that you have, even your relationship to work and connection to work. So really, I think that this month, the biggest blessing for you is like, in a sense, letting go and then forming that acceptance and like having this like internal knowing that I don't think you guys had before. And there's something that tells me, because you guys are so willing to be accepting of where you are right now and having that patience and that calm of, hey, well, whatever is meant for me is going to come to me eventually. And I know that it's like heading straight for me. As long as I focus on the fact that I know it's heading straight for me, like I could be cool, calm and collected, and like I don't have to rush to do anything anymore. And I think that's like a really big thing for you, because for a lot of you guys, I think it was like instant gratification or bust. Like if it's not here right now, like it's really never coming for me, or like I will lose interest in it, or I'll lose hope in it. And I think, you know, whether you guys have developed this sense of hope or not, I do think that you just have developed the acceptance for where you are right now, and that is monumental for you, because it's going to help you in this next year to come. If you're watching this in real time, it's going to help you for sure moving forward, because you're going to understand that sometimes moving slow is part of the process, and that does not mean that you're not progressing in any state just because you're moving slow, you know? So you are a lot more accepting of things in your life right now, and also accepting of who you are. I think that this is also really influenced your self-esteem and self-identity and your self-perception. And with that being said, I think that you guys are gaining a lot more confidence in who you are, and for some of you, you guys are a lot less socially anxious. I think for some of you guys, you are really dependent or reliant on other people's perception of you to define who you are. And I think you've let a lot of that go, because you're like, regardless of what people think of me, I'm either stuck the way that I am, or I'm only going to change when I feel like changing. And if this is very relational for you, that means that moving forward, when you are engaging and forming these romantic connections and they're deeper, you are not going to look at the other person to validate you anymore. And that is also huge for you, because that will really allow you to connect with them in a different way that seems more raw, real, and true, instead of trying to be a certain person for a certain somebody. And again, in the past, you may have felt like confident in the fact that, oh, like I'm this person's, you know, spouse, or I'm this person's partner, and I'm this person's best friend, and like I hold a certain status and a certain role, and like it was almost like you were kind of in that relationship to serve them, but completely forgetting about yourself. And for you right now, it's not about that anymore. I think that you guys have committed to certain habits and a lifestyle that really serves you, and that promotes your confidence and promotes your perception of your identity in a more truthful and genuine and authentic way. And because of that, that's like super huge for you in terms of like your energy, because when you're living in your truth and you're living in your authenticity and you're being genuine to yourself, that means that you're being genuine to other people, and that's contagious and infectious, and it really, you know, it does a good job for the whole entire community and the environment that you're in. So even if it's not a romantic connection, and maybe it's a connection that you have in the workplace, maybe you're a boss or a CEO, or you own a business and you have a lot of people working under you, the whole entire dynamic of the company is going to change, because you have decided to put more value in yourself and who you are. And maybe you've learned how to put your foot down with certain things, instead of being so like wishy-washy or like a leaf in the wind, basically, where, you know, anything that happens, it really like changes your course. And if you let any external influence really change your course that often, you're going to feel like you're stagnant and not moving in life. And like you are doing all these little things, but it's really like at the end of the day, you feel like you've ran a marathon and you don't see any progress. And sometimes that is necessary for your process, but it's not how the process should always be. So if you have been running on E for a long time, it's probably because you've been trying to move and shift all the time, and you haven't found your stability to say, I'm going to plant the seed, I'm going to watch it grow, I'm going to be gentle and nurturing to it, and I know it's going to take time, and I'm going to monitor that, but like I'm not going to have to like plant the seed and then like do this other thing over here and then do this other thing over there, and then by the time you get back to the seed, you're like, oh my god, I didn't nourish it, you know? Like I tried to make this work, but it didn't work because my hands were in too many places and too many pots, you know? So I really do see a lot of this as a big blessing for you, and this is something that's long standing as well. I think that this is some sort of energetic shift that took a long time in the making for you to actually shift into a different kind of energy, but ultimately it's going to be something that's permanent because you had to slowly move through it. And I think that when you're looking at your own energy over the past year and you're seeing where you are now as opposed to where you've been, you can finally say, oh my god, I'm so happy I'm not running that rat race anymore. And I can see that sometimes it takes a long time to make something happen, but at the end of the day, it's because it's a more permanent change, and that's what I wanted. So that's what I see here for you. I am going to take one more card here just to see if there's anything else that Spirit wants to say for you in terms of blessings. Okay, I was literally saying letting go of fear, letting go of doubt, letting go of worry, letting go of indecisiveness. And that's what we have here too. We have fear in reverse, meaning that we're letting go of it. And the affirmation that we have attached to it is, I realize that I am testing my resolve to live in the energy of love, okay? Because what is the opposite of fear? It's love. So every single time you're letting go of fear, you are choosing to live in the energy of love instead. And that really helps you in more areas in your life than just one. So this is all that I see for you, my lovely pile number 2s. It was such a pleasure to divine for you today. If you have any questions, please go ahead, leave them in the comment section for me, or you can send me an email at mystique.awakening@gmail.com. If you're interested in a one-on-one session, please absolutely do so. I'm here for you. You could go to mystiqueawakening.com and click services to see what my services are. And then lastly, if you guys are interested in Reiki training, make sure that you are enrolling before January 1st, because that is our next cycle. You can learn how to cleanse yourself there, help cleanse your friends, family, loved ones, or even clients if you're looking to have another stream of income for yourself. And lastly, I know I said lastly before, but lastly, for real this time, lastly, if you guys are interested in more Reiki and tarot videos, mindset shifting content, podcasts, tips and tricks, blog posts, then make sure that you're subscribing to become a Mystic member. I have many different levels for you to choose from to help you in different paths of your spiritual journey. And if you have any questions about that, I also do have a free 15-minute consultation that you can book with me, so you can go over all of my services one-on-one and see what benefits you the most. But this is all that I have for you right now, and I send you lots of love. Bye. All right, hello, my lovely pile number 3s. This is for those of you who have chosen the bundle of sage. So for those of you who have chosen pile number 3, choosing a bundle of sage for you could mean a couple of different things. It could mean that you guys should be getting out into nature a little bit more, maybe creating bundles of different herbs for yourself as well, whether that's sweetgrass, rosemary, could be sage. If you're in an area with sage, I would say that if you do have an area with sage and you are trying to, take it from the earth, make sure that you're only taking like 2 or 3 out of the stems that you see and not uprooting the whole entire thing. A lot of people who are making these bundles just kind of uproot the whole entire thing, and they're not leaving anything in replacement, or they're not leaving anything left for Mother Nature. So if you guys are in an area where you make your own bundles of things, make sure that you're leaving enough for that plant to still survive and produce more, please. But if you're not into getting any sort of sage bundles for yourself, there's sweetgrass as an option, there's rosemary as an option, there's other herbs that you can look up that you can burn to help cleanse yourself and cleanse your space, but also just kind of getting into nature and getting your hands dirty and getting a little muddy, getting a little dirty, and having that grounding connection, that energetic exchange with Mother Nature is super, super beneficial for you. So either it's time for you to kind of ground yourself a little bit more and get into like that hunter-gatherer kind of energy when you're out in the woods, maybe literally just like having some time to sit, look at nature. If you see something that you really like, offer some sort of trade to Mother Nature, and then use it for your spiritual practice if need be. But it's either cleansing or spending more time in nature. Seems like that's something that really is resonating with your energy at this time. But let's go ahead and get into these cards and see what blessings we have coming for you in this month. Okay, so we have a Page of Pentacles upright, we have the King of Pentacles in a place of reverse, and we also have Holy Love. Interesting. So give me 1 second here to get all the messages for you. Okay. What I really see here as a major blessing for you this month is that you're finding the importance and you're finding the comfort in taking your own time and space to connect with yourself, aka connect with God. And God could mean anything to you. The universe, your higher self, higher power, angels, maybe even ancestors, past lives, just your spiritual self. I think that you guys are really seeing the importance of that. And you guys give me the vibes of like the people who always use other people as a crutch. So maybe you are, or were used to always being around other people, always needing company, always needing reassurance, always needing to do something and be out, because being home alone with your thoughts was like a death sentence. It's like you rather literally stick needles in your eyes than spend some quality time for yourself with some self-care. And I think that you guys have finally come to the point where it's comfortable for you to do that, and that you rather do that. And that's like a huge thing, because at this point, I do see a big spiritual upgrade coming. I also do see a lot of emotional, like, gunk being purged out of your system at this time. I think that you guys are going to feel a lot lighter and brighter this month. I think that you guys are going to really exude this like angel energy where you have a different light about you. And I think people, if they haven't already, are going to start coming up to you and saying like, who are you? Like, what kind of magic is it that you offer? Like, what are you? Like, point blank period, what are you? And I think that a lot of your family members, especially if they haven't seen you in a long time and you decide to go to like a family cookout, or if you're watching this in real time, the holidays are coming up, I think that a lot of family members are going to look at you and just be very proud and just give you so many compliments and say like, you look bright, you look good. For some of you guys, even, I see that that you feel that you finally conquered your addiction. So whatever addiction that is, maybe you've had to go to rehab a couple times, maybe you have been in therapy for a really long time and you haven't really connected with people close to you in a while. Like maybe you guys had really moved away from certain friend groups, or maybe you quit your job, and if you run into them again, or again, like family members, if you see them that you haven't seen in a really long time, they're going to notice a really big difference, and they're going to be like, wow, like you look good, like you look amazing, like you look like so happy and effervescent, and your aura is becoming wider, and you are protecting yourself and your energy more, and you're not really taking bullshit anymore, and you can cut through the bullshit and see people's bullshit, and you're just like so above it now, and you weren't really like that before. I don't see you guys being held down by addictions really at all, and that is like a major accomplishment for you. And mind you, these addictions don't have to be just like drugs and alcohol. These addictions could be like a love addiction, it could be an addiction to technology, it could be an addiction to working, so really keep that in mind. It could be an addiction to a negative like thought process or some sort of trauma that you had that keeps replaying over and over and over in your head. And now it's like your mind, body, and soul have transformed, and you finally feel the benefit of it. Because like when you are in a place that you don't really want to be and you're navigating your way out of it, it can feel very treacherous, and it can feel very exhausting, because you're constantly having to do something to, negate everything that you've already done, or move past everything that you've already done and who you were. And sometimes you don't feel very different, even though you know that you've been living a different lifestyle for a long time. I'm telling you that this month, you're going to finally feel that different nature. You're going to finally feel like, oh, I feel so light and so bright. There's really not much to worry about. Like, I'm not concerned for anything. I'm not craving anything. Like, you're going to be feeling all of the benefits of your hard work. And that is your blessing. And not only that, like I said, you're going to be going through a spiritual upgrade. So I'm sensing for you heightened spiritual gifts and psychic gifts. I'm sensing for you new people coming into your life that you look up to, that you're like, wow, like I want to be friends with you. Like you seem like you're either on my same vibe or you got your own vibe going on, but we could really like complement each other. And no longer is it like an addiction of like, oh, I want to be like that person, or oh, I'm so jealous of that person, let me try to befriend them. It's more like, oh my gosh, this person is like living in their own truth and I'm living in my own truth, and now we create some sort of harmony together. And I think that you are really going to know the exact people to be around and when to be around them. But again, like, you don't have to feel fixated to anything anymore or attached to anything anymore. So really live in this luxury of peace, this newfound peace for yourself, and just allow yourself to kind of float down the lazy river of life for a bit, because there's really not much that you have to like strive for. And I'm not saying that you're not going to have goals or dreams that you want to, you know, realize. I'm saying that like you don't feel like you have to get anything done because you don't feel like you're lacking in any sort of way. So that's very, very beautiful. I do sense that you're prioritizing your needs before anyone else's, which is super important for you, especially if you guys were trying to get on the right track in terms of your own health, like specifically like body wise. So making sure that you're going to your checkups, your appointments, making sure that you are keeping a really good home and that everything is good and working properly. There's no broken appliances or things that you need to get fixed or things that you need to get done. It's like you guys have been very consistent with your self-care, and it's really showing, and you get to kind of just like, you know, spread your little fairy wings everywhere, butterfly wings, or, you know, if you're more masculine, your eagle wings, whatever it is. But I think that you guys are going to have this sensation of freedom, and it's very uplifting, not only for you, but it's very uplifting for others to be around as well. With that being said, there is one small caution here where sometimes our lights can shine so bright that we attract the wrong kind of attention. And because you are coming into an era where you're more of a truth seer, I do think it's going to be quite easy for you to see who is trying to drain your energy. But, you know, if there are people who are like, I really want to be your friend, and you don't really like feel that way, don't feel obligated to be their friend or share your phone number with them or personal information with them, especially if you meet them out and about. Because there's some people who literally just want to feed off of your energy, and not all of them, you know, look like they're going to do that. So you really have to tune back into your internal guidance system and say, okay, wow, this person's really fun. This person's really flirty. This person's really bright. This person's really affectionate. This person's really like showering me with gifts. Like, I can tell that they really want to hang out with me. You should take a second to step back and say, do I feel like they're needing something from me? Or do I feel like they fulfill themselves enough that they're going to be complementary to my life? Because it can get really tricky, especially if this is like a newfound experience for us where we feel light and free and bright. It could be, you know, very insightful to go through this the first time and say, oh, wow, this person seemed like a really good friend. But after a couple weeks, after a couple months, like, now I see they only want to shit talk their other friends when they're with me. Or now I see that they maybe are dressing a little bit more like me, and they're listening to more of the music that I listen to, and they're like adopting a lot more of like my personal culture, or maybe even my spiritual culture, but they're not necessarily developing or finding their own personal culture or spiritual culture. So especially when it comes to the spiritual part of it, there's going to be some people that love how disciplined you are in your spirituality, and love how, you know, maybe if you're into reading tarot, maybe then they're like, oh, I never thought about that. And they ask you all the questions about tarot. And then like the next day they have a new tarot deck, and like they don't know anything, you know, they don't know how to work with it. And it's not to say that people can't adopt new things, but be very wary of like the timeline that they're doing these things and like the intentions behind them doing it. Like, are they really trying to do this to benefit themselves? Are you inspiring them to benefit themselves? Are you inspiring them to feed off of the good energy that you already have? And because this is something newfound for you, if you do get tripped up, it could be very easy to kind of resort back to like, oh, well, this person looks a little sad, let me like give them some of my energy. Nope. Like, your energy will naturally flow to the people it's supposed to flow to. And if you have a, you know, like a best friend that's been like really hardcore loving you, and you want to do something really nice to them or for them, that's way different. But like, if you feel that you have to like give love to like this little broken winged little birdie, really kind of second guess how you're going about doing that. allowing yourself to, listen to them when they need someone to vent to, every now and again, probably not a bad idea. Support people if you feel like supporting them, but we're not adopting anyone else's issues to take care of it for them. You know what I mean? So that's all that I'm really seeing for you. I'm going to also grab another card here and see if there's anything else Spirit wants to let us know. We have regret in a place of challenges. It says, I know that I cannot change the past. Okay, so with this card, I feel like there is still some level of acceptance that needs to be done. I think that energetically, you're definitely in a new point. And I think that it's not that you're going to slip into the past. That's one thing I want to make clear for you with this card. It's not that you're going to slip into the past. And even if you did, I don't think it's going to be all that easy for you, because you've already developed so many practices and consistency and discipline with having your life go a different way, that even if you did go a little bit towards the past, your habits will still take you out of that, right? But for some of you guys, there is some shadow work that needs to be looked at. And when you're thinking of that shadow work, if you're like, well, where do I start? Like, where's the shadow work? It has to deal with regret. So if you feel like some form of like regret or even like revenge or vengefulness for anyone or any part of your life, you really want to make sure that you're uprooting that. And if you're watching this in real time, make sure that you're doing that kind of shadow work before the end of the year, so that you go into the next year with that calm peace of mind that, you know what, I accept all versions of myself. I accept all the situations I was in. I accept all the trauma that I had to go through, because I know that I am not the same person now, and my life is not the same as it used to be. I know that, point blank, period. And I know I'm not going to sink back to that level, because I clawed my way out. I found the staircase out. I found the roadmap out, and I created that roadmap. So even if I were to go back, I would just find my way back out, like, point blank, period. So if you know that you have that security and the strength to do that, then you should also have the strength and security to really accept all versions of yourself. And I think that's where it really comes through. Also, for some reason, there is a really big energy here that I'm feeling. I think that there may have been some toxic female in your life, some toxic female best friend, or it could be some sort of like romantic counterpart, or someone that you both kind of had a crush on one another, but you guys remained friends, or even friends with benefits sort of situation, that they really fed into a lot of toxic behavior. And I think that now they're way different than who they used to be. But if you're thinking of going back and being friends with them or starting new things with them, not that very many of you are, but if they decide to reach out to you, or you see them walking down the street and they come up to you or whatever, and you find that glimmer of, oh my gosh, like things were like how they used to be, and it's like that happiness, just allow it to be that. Don't readopt them into your life, because I do sense that if you do, you guys are going to go right back into the same spiral. And it may take some time to get there. Like, you may have a good few months, but quickly you'll start to realize, like, maybe our energies just should not be together. So if you're thinking about going and like texting that old friend, calling that old friend, if you see that friend pop up in your like suggested albums and your photos, like just let it be, leave it be, send them some love from afar, but don't adopt that person. And if there's someone in your life, or there's someone who comes into your life that has a familiarity of that person, stay away from them too. Same thing. Sometimes life just gives us echoes of the past. That doesn't mean that it is something permanent in your life, or that has to stay in your life. I remember that I had a friend, and we didn't really work out so well. We had a little bit of an addictive relationship. We were trauma bonding really hard before I even knew what trauma bonding was, which makes it worse because you don't even know, you're unaware. But I had this one friend, and she had certain characteristics to her. And after, a couple years had passed, I found a new friend, and I would always look at that new friend and say, wow, you remind me of this other person. You remind me of this other person. You remind me of this other person. And I remember thinking in my head, like, wow, like maybe this is a way that the universe is just giving me a little piece of that person that I used to really love, and now we can create a healthy relationship from that. And I'm not saying that my life is going to be the exact replica of yours by any means, but I'm not lying to you when I tell you just like about a year and a half later or 2 years later, then that person, we weren't a good match either. And I think that the universe just gives us echoes of past things in our life. Doesn't really mean that it's there to stay. I still cherish the good times that I had in both relationships, but it always did feel a little creepy and a little eerie to me that this one new person was so similar to that other person. And I'm talking about personality, I'm talking about zodiac sign, I'm talking about features, I'm talking about like a very similar person. And you could just be attracted to that kind of energy, but that doesn't mean that you have to like keep them as a permanent thing in your life. It could just be, oh, that's nice, haha, quick little giggle, quick little fun time, but you know, at the end of the day, I don't have to like give them my all if I don't feel that there's a reciprocity there, you know? So just kind of keep that in mind. I'm not saying that my life is your life or your life is mine, but a lot of the times when I notice these echoes come, they're just echoes, and you just experience them for a brief moment and then they're gone again, and that's okay too. So again, regret, I know that I cannot change the past. This is all that I have for you, my dears. Thank you so much for listening to me divine for you and trusting me in divining for you. If you have any questions about what you heard in today's spread, please go ahead and leave a comment down below. If you guys are interested in a one-on-one session, I do have those. So go to mystiqueawakening.com and click services to find out all the sessions and services that I have. If you're interested in Reiki training, our next cycle starts January 1st. So make sure that you are signing up to enroll before then. And if you guys are interested in more Reiki and tarot content, mindset shifting content, podcast, meditations, awakening portals, things like that, make sure that you're signing up and subscribing to become a Mystic member through my website as well, so that you never miss a video, especially the ones that I don't post here on YouTube. But I love you guys very much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.